Hello, everyone. Welcome to my our daily worship today. Today is centered around a passage from Esther. So we're going to begin with one of the few hymns in the ELW that actually directly names any women. And that's 419, ELW hymn 419, For All the Faithful Women. But I do want to highlight in here that I believe it's still written by a man, and there's a glaring error in here or not error, but oversight, that Esther is not one of the verses. There's a verse for a number of women in the Bible, but Esther is not among them. Regardless, we're going to sing verses 3, 4, and 5 along with the first and seconds, to lift up the women in the Old Testament. To begin with. So if you have an ELW at home, you can join in singing, but no pressure. For all the faithful women who served in days of old, to you shall thanks be given, to you all their stories told. They serve with strength and gladness in tasks your wisdom gave. To you their lives bore witness, proclaim your power to save. O God, for saints and servants, who named and those unknown, in whom are all the ages your light of glory shone. We offer their thanksgiving and fervent prayer we raise, that faithful in your service, our lives may sing your praise. We praise your name for freedom, who sang triumphantly, while Pharaoh's vaunted army cried round beneath the sea. As Israel marched to freedom, the chains of bondage gone, so may we reach your kingdom, your mighty arm has won. To Hannah praying childless before the throne of grace, you gave a son and called him to serve before your face. Grant us her perseverance and teach us how to pray, and trust in your deliverance when doubt hides our way. For Ruth, who left her homeland and ventured forth in faith, who pledged to serve and worship Naomi's God till death, we praise you, God of Israel, and pray for hearts set free. Now bind ourselves to others in love and loyalty. O God, for saints and servants, surface, those named and those unknown, in whom through all the ages your light of glory shone. We offer glad thanksgiving and fervent prayer we raise, that faithful in your service our lives may sing your praise. Our reading comes today from Esther chapter 7, verses 1 through 10. This is the conclusion of the Esther story, in which Haman, the advisor to King Xerxes, has plotted to basically kill or commit or plan to kill or eliminate or deport all Jewish people in the empire. Esther is the queen to King Xerxes and now steps up. So the king and Haman went in to feast with Queen Esther. On the second day, as they were drinking wine, the king again said to Esther, "What is your petition, Queen Esther? It shall be granted you. And what is your request? Even to the half of my kingdom it shall be fulfilled." Then Queen Esther answered, "If I have won your favor, O king, and if it pleases the king, let my life be given me. That is my petition. And the lives of my people, that is my request. For we have been sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be killed, and to be annihilated. If we had been sold merely as slaves, men and women, I may have held my peace, but no enemy can compensate for this damage to the king." Then King Ahasuerus, it was not King Xerxes, it was King Ahasuerus, said to Queen Esther, "Who is he and where is he who has presumed to do this?" Esther said, "A foe and enemy, this wicked Haman." Then Haman was terrified before the king and queen. The king rose from the feast in wrath and went into the palace garden, but Haman stayed to beg his life from Queen Esther, for he saw that the king had determined to destroy him. When the king returned from the palace garden to the banquet hall, Haman had thrown himself on the couch where Esther was reclining, and the king said, "Will he even assault the queen in my presence, in my own house?" And as the words left his mouth, they covered Haman's face. Then Harbona, one of the eunuchs in attendance on the king, said, "Look, the very gallows that Haman has prepared for Mordecai, whose word saved the king, stands at Haman's house 50 cubits high." And the king said, "Hang him on that." So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then the anger of the king abated. To reflect on that passage, rather violent and kind of terrifying one, but also one that's all too relevant. We're going to sing the hymn, "O God We Call," which is in the All Creation Sings expansion to the ELW that hasn't been published yet, but it's a trial copy. So if you by chance were sent that, you can sing along, but it's also an easy one to follow along with. We'll repeat it a few times. O God, we call. O God, we call. From deep inside we yearn. From deep inside we yearn. From deep inside we yearn. O God, we call. From deep inside we go. From deep inside we go. From deep inside we go. O God, we call. O God, we call. From deep inside we go. From deep inside we go. From deep inside we go. For you. Our second reading today comes from Louise Bennett, who is British, but born, or Jamaican-born British, later citizen poet, also activist, scholar, essayist. Well, she was a lot of things. Either way, her poem titled "Colonization in Reverse," which was written in the late 50s, near the end of the kind of first immigrant wave into Great Britain after World War II, where former colonies were granted citizenship, to move to Britain to provide labor. And Bennett wrote on the kind of way that it was flipping the empire upside down. She writes in this poem in a kind of nation language. It's kind of meant to imitate the a Jamaican dialect in English, because of course you're not going to speak English the same way if you were, it's a way of honestly dismantling the imperial aspects of the English language. And yet I am going to read it with caution, because I do not wish to appropriate her pattern of speaking, and yet I believe that this poem is important. So I will not be completely accurate to that, and we can discuss our different approaches if you disagree with me in the comments. I am always glad to learn if I'm doing something that might be wrong. So this is Colonization in Reverse. What a joyful news, Miss Maddie. I feel like my heart is going to burst. Jamaica people are colonizing England in reverse. By the hundred, by the thousand, from country and from town, by the shipload, by the plane load, Jamaica is England bound. They abhor out of Jamaica everybody future plan is to get a big time job and settle in the motherland. What an island, what a people, man and woman, old and young, just pack their bag and baggage and turn history upside down. Some people don't like to travel, but to show their loyalty, they all open up cheap fare to an England agency. And week by week, they're shipping off the countrymen like fire to immigrate and populate the seat of the empire. You see how life is funny? You see the turnabout? Jamaica lived to box bread out of English people's mouths. For when they catch in England and start to play a different role, some will settle down to work and some will settle for the dole. which are unemployment benefits. Jane says the dole is not too bad because they is paying she. £2 a week to seek a job that suit her dignity. I say Jane will never find work at the rate how she does look. For all day she stay upon Aunt Fan's couch and read love story book. What a devilment in England, they face war and brave the worse. But I'm wondering how they're going to stand colonization in reverse. If you are the praying sort, I now invite you to pray with me. God, bring justice to this world. Too many who oppress rest comfortably in power. Too many who harm your creation face no consequence. Too many who act with cruelty towards your children are unopposed. Help us recognize that your love necessitates justice, and guide us to make that justice real on this earth. Amen. We're going to close with a song by the Cranberries, one of my favorites. This is Ode to My Family. Understand the things I say. Don't turn away from me, 'cause I spent half of my life out there. You wouldn't disagree. Do you see me? Do you see me? Do you like me standing there? Do you notice? Do you notice? Do you see me? Does anyone care? I'm happiness. When I was young and we didn't give a damn, 'cause we're raised to see life as fun and take it if we can. My mother, she'd hold me when I was out there. My father, he liked me. Does anyone care? Does anyone care? Does anyone care? Does anyone care? Understand what I've become. It wasn't my design. People everywhere think something better than I am. I miss you, 'cause I liked it when I was out here. Do you know this? Do you know this? you did not find. Does anyone care what happiness was when I was young and we didn't give a damn? 'Cause we're raised to see life as fun and take it if we can. My mother, she told me when I was out there. My father, like me. Does anyone care? 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 Good rest of the day, everyone.